Hey people, welcome back to the channel. It's a long time, long time. So much has gone on, hasn't it?
A lot, and it's already been a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's flown by.
So where do we begin? Where do we start? So let's start with career-wise. Like, I'm officially out of the army. Did we tell them?
I don't think so.
So I'm officially out of the army now.
Hey!
Full-time civvy. I've been a full-time civvy for 2 months now. Complete and utter change. Gotten used to it now. Don't get me wrong, I do miss the lads, but I don't miss the job itself. I thought it was time for a change, and which I've done now. I'm now a fully qualified dog handler, security dog handler. I've got a new dog as well. You ain't seen him. New dog, Ricky. He's a Belgian Malinois. He's in the other room because I crate him. So we live in a 2-bed flat. I crate him in an XXL crate. He can stand in it, he can move in it and all that jazz. So he's completely fine. I just take him out when needs be. It's a bit hot at the moment, it's like 30 degrees, so I don't really take him out too much because he overheats.
He suffers. Yeah,
suffers bad. So I take him out in the morning, and then when it gets cooler in the evening. But he is a good boy. We were panicking at the start, weren't we?
I didn't even think we was getting a Belgian Malinois.
I did not think so.
Thought we was getting a German Shepherd.
I thought we were getting a black German Shepherd, but it turns out I was getting a boy Belgian Malinois. But he's good with Buddy. He's now good with the cat, so I can literally have him off the lead in the flat with the cat, and they're totally fine. He's good as gold. He just goes in his crate and just does his job. He's a working dog at the end of the day. So yeah, that's where we're at with me. That is me at the moment. And
with me,
yeah, the story.
The last time you saw me, I had a very big bump. Well, turns out that I've already had the baby. So, yeah, as you can see, we are still both a little bit like shocked with it all. Obviously, it happened very quickly. So he actually came 3 months earlier than expected.
3 months earlier.
So I was exactly 28 weeks and 4 days when I gave birth. But when I went into labour, I was 28 weeks and...
a couple of days, weren't you?
2 or 3 days?
Yeah.
Oh, why does it keep going blurry? Yeah. So, yeah, in order for me to tell you what actually happened, I've got to start from the beginning.
And before we start, I always said it, and I said it all the time. I said, like, this little man's gonna come early. I had a weird feeling he was gonna come early. And look at him now. He's too active. He was too active in the belly. But yeah, let's continue with the story.
He actually was extremely active.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the 20-something of May, 23rd of May or 21st? 21st of May, I went on holiday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went on holiday with my sisters. We did a baby moon. Curtis couldn't come because he obviously started a new job. So me and my sisters went, and on holiday, for some reason, I just felt like something was not right. I did not feel 100%. As in, I felt well, but I wasn't sure about little man. He just wasn't really moving as much as he usually does. He's a very active baby. Always kicking and punching me, even during certain times. So like after a meal, or when I'd lie down, late in the evening. And I just felt like he wasn't doing his normal, usual kicks and punches. So obviously the whole holiday, it was meant to be a nice relaxing holiday, but in myself I was literally texting Curtis, stressing every day, like, I'm really worried, I don't know, like, I just feel like he's not being himself. But like, I would feel him kick, but just not as much.
Yeah. So
it would reassure me, but then I'd still be worried about it. And then I think it was the night before, or 2 nights before we came home, we only went there for like 4 days, 5 days, I felt like a weird movement, and ever since I was like really uncomfortable. It almost felt like he was sticking out like front.
Sorry, I just had to sort out the camera just because it had some issues. It kept focusing and then unfocusing all the time. It was bothering me. But yeah, let's continue.
So yeah, he was sat in a really uncomfortable position, or like in a really uncomfortable way. It was like he was sticking out, and I just felt so uncomfortable for the last couple of days. Like, I just felt like I couldn't really breathe. Like, shortness of breath was getting quite crazy, and it wasn't even that hot there. Like, we have hotter weather here now than we did in Crete. And I just wanted to get home. So as soon as we got back, no, actually, when I was on holiday, I started to have some weird TMI discharge, which concerned me. But I thought, oh, maybe it's just like normal for, you know, coming into my 3rd trimester now. I'm going to start having a few more symptoms. So I tried not to panic, but yeah, I went home. Straight away I called the midwife and was like, I want to check for fetal movement because I'm not really happy with the way he's moving. So I went late at night after work to go check his movements, and everything was fine. So they just strapped me up to the machine to check for any contractions, and then for his heart rate and movement, and I was like attached to a monitor that like assessed me and said that it was all fine. So yeah, all was good. I went home, I felt so much better, I felt so much more reassured, but again, something still in me was like, oh, I really don't know, like he's still just not moving as much as I expected him to. And then 24 hours later, I was at work doing a 12-hour shift, trying to get some overtime in before baby comes, and I started to have like period pains, and I thought, oh, okay, like maybe, you know, it's just my body preparing for the 3rd trimester. Maybe I'm just like stretching, expanding, like, I don't know, I'm growing a human in me, so I'm assuming I'm gonna have all these pains. Then I assumed that maybe it was like Braxton Hicks. So I asked a few of my friends at work and they were like, yeah, it sounded like it could be Braxton Hicks. So I was doing research online, trying to see if my symptoms were similar. Anyway, throughout the day they were actually getting a little bit more prominent and quite worse. So I spoke to my mum and I was like, I think I'm just going to call the midwife advice line. So that's what I did. And she recommended I take some paracetamol, rest for an hour, and just see how it goes. And if within 1 hour the pains don't go away, I need to go and get seen. So I went home, took some paracetamol, had a shower, and just laid down, chilled and relaxed. And he was moving a lot, but I was still having these pains. It would come and it would go, and it would come and it would go. It was just like it was a really weird pain, like I can't explain. And so I called the midwife and I told her my symptoms, and she said, yes, please come in, let's just assess you and see what's going on. So I went to the hospital. It was quite late at night.
Sorry, during this time, I'm still at work. Yeah, so I'm currently at work. So
yeah, I'm just keeping Curtis updated as to what's going on. So I go, I think it was about 6:30 or 7 that I went, and they strapped me up to the machine again and did the heart rate and all of that stuff. And I was strapped up for literally, I think, 5 hours.
You were there, she was there
because I kept failing on the machine, so it wasn't happy with what it was detecting. I think it was because it kept losing his heartbeat or heart rate, I don't know. Whole body was moving, and I was waiting to be seen by a doctor because I was being seen by multiple people throughout the day. So then late at night I was seen by a doctor who assessed me. He looked inside me, felt around, and was like, oh yeah, like I think you have like I think you just have some growing pains. Yeah, like
some cramps,
growing pains, which I think is normal. And I just thought to myself, I don't think it's that, because like they were quite bad, and you at this point you had got there. Curtis got there just before the doctor came to assess me.
Yeah, so during that time that was happening, I was at work and I was like, right, it seems to be getting a bit worse and worse. I don't really know what's going on here. So I spoke to my supervisor and like Jazz, they said, you can go, just go. So I was like, yeah, I'm going. So I finally got there, and then that's when we sat down and the doctor came along and said about the cramps and all that, and we were sitting there like,
really?
I don't think it's just cramps, mate. I don't think that just happens or keeps happening.
Because the pains were like constant. Obviously they were coming and going, but it was like, it almost felt like it was contractions, even though I don't know what they feel like. Now I do. But yeah, so then he was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a senior doctor and get her to come and have a chat with you. As soon as she walked in, she already had like a concerned look on her face, didn't she? And we both were like, what do you know that we don't know? Yeah. And she was just asking me questions, but like in such a calm manner, like, okay, so what is it that you're feeling? Okay, and when did you start? Okay, and why have you been feeling this? And So yeah, she was just asking loads of questions, and she was like, can I just have another look inside you? Like, sorry, I know he's just done it. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, because obviously I had a little bit of like discoloration in my discharge, which is why I was so concerned. So yeah, they basically had a look, and she was like, and like telling it to the nurse or the midwife next to us, and we're both just thinking, what? I was thinking, oh my God, please don't tell me anything I don't want to hear. And she was like, okay, so your cervix is closed, which is good, but what you're experiencing is contractions. And me and Curtis both were like,
what does this mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be. Why would I be? Like, my waters haven't broken. What's going on? I'm so confused. And she was like, yeah, your water's not broken, your cervix is closed, but what I'd like to do is test you, do some swabs, make sure there's no infection. She could see that I had some not bleeding, but discoloration in my discharge. I still had that mucousy discharge, which now I know is my mucus plug. And she straight away was like, I'm just going to see where his head is at. So in the meantime, they're doing a swab to tell me whether or not I was going into labour in the next week. Yeah. So they were testing that while she went to go do the head scan, and within the 2 seconds of that ultrasound going onto my stomach, baby's head was down. Because that's what she was looking for, was to see if he was engaged. And she was like, yep, he's engaged. And my heart dropped. I was like, me and Curtis both, you could tell we were both like,
yeah. Whoa.
What?
Whoa, let's stop.
So panic started to set in for the both of us, I think. I mean, we did stay quite calm, to be fair. Yeah. But
no, they didn't really. I was just in. Yeah, we're
just shock.
I was like, nah, she ain't coming out yet. Surely not. Nah, this ain't happening. But
yeah, especially because they did say, like, it's fine, there's things that we can do to stop it or prevent it, or, you know, give it a few more weeks. And we were like, oh, okay, like, cool. So in the meantime, then one of the midwives come back and was like, so the test is positive, so I was likely to go into labour in the next couple of days to a week. So they then had to do another look inside me. So they looked inside me 3 times, and I think she went actually in with her hand to feel for something, I can't remember. And she basically said, so we have to basically give you a pill, we'll give you a pill that basically stops your contractions. If your contractions don't stop within 1 hour, you need to go straight to the labour ward. But because he was going to be so premature, the hospital wouldn't take him. So we had to be transferred to St. Peter's Hospital, which is probably a little bit further away from us, so that they can take care of him when he's born. So yeah, basically they then transferred us down into one of the delivery rooms to see what was going on with my contractions. So I was still being attached to this monitor while they were assessing baby and myself. In the meantime, they were fitting a cannula in my arm, which, by the way, took them probably half an hour to 40 minutes just to get a vein. The guy was like doing it in all sorts of places. He bruised me, he wasn't getting it in, and then the senior nurse came and she got it straight in, but I was bleeding everywhere. And in the meantime, I'm having these contractions, and they are getting worse, by the way. They are not getting any better. And then they also gave me a steroid injection, which goes into your bum cheek, and it's basically to help little man's lungs grow and mature quicker, so that when he's born, he's able to sort of breathe better. So I had that, and by the way, that is probably one of the worst injections I've ever had in my life. How bad was that? Like, honestly, I've never been in so much pain. I was screaming, like, it was just awful. So I had that, and then obviously by that time, an hour had gone by, and they had noticed, even on the monitor and myself, I was still having contractions. So they were like, right, we need to rush you off to
St. Peter's.
And I had to go into an ambulance. So at this point, we're thinking, oh my God, am I going into labour? What's going on? You need to tell my mum. We need to pack a bag. We haven't packed a hospital bag. Like, oh my God. So I had to go in the hospital, and I had to go in the ambulance on my own. And Curtis had to go home, basically, and sort stuff out.
That's when I met your mum. I met her mum, sister as well. They came in and we started to sort out the overnight bag.
Yes. And I was in the ambulance texting them, like...
Yeah.
make sure you pack this, make sure you get this, just in case, because I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't even thought about packing a hospital bag yet. I bought the bag, but not the bits for it.
Yeah, so we didn't do none of that, and also on top of that, I'm so grateful we started
his room.
The room.
Oh,
when
and
we
I
did, yeah.
wonder why. I wonder who got it started.
Yeah,
I was like,
Lil started
we need to get this room started.
But I said we got time. We got time. Don't worry. But luckily we started now. I tell you.
Yeah. Then you came and met me at the hospital. So at this point, I'm at the hospital now.
Yeah, and I came to meet you.
And I'm in the labour ward. So I'm in one of the delivery rooms. It's a massive, massive room. And they basically just put me on so much medication. I was on God knows what, like 5-6 different pills, and they had me strapped again to the monitor to make sure baby was okay and I was okay, and movement and whatever.
So that was upstairs in the labour ward, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. That was, so we had a lot of care there. I felt like they were coming in quite a lot, weren't they?
Yes.
Sorting you out,
checking
etc.
in and making sure I was okay.
But because she kept having the contractions, etc., I think they moved you downstairs then, didn't she?
So when we got there, that was at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Then we had a little bit of a sleep, and they assessed me that whole day in that room.
Yes, yeah. And then when did they move? Yeah, they moved you down after, didn't they?
Yeah. So then they assessed me all day, and they were like, I said to Curtis, I was timing them, and I was seeing how often I was getting them throughout the whole day. And I could tell that I was having, not consistent, well, I mean, they were consistent, but they were like all over the place. Like some would be 5 minutes, some would be every 7 minutes, half an hour. They then assessed me again on the monitor, and they were like, no, you're not having contractions, you're safe to go downstairs, and we'll just monitor you from there. And I was like, okay. So then Curtis went home to go sort the dog out.
Yeah.
And they had moved me back down to the other room, and in that time my contractions were strong and hard. I was like, Curtis, you need to get back in now, because I really don't feel like this is getting any better. Like, I am getting worse. So Curtis rushed back. I think it was about 7 o'clock you got to me, and they were really, really strong. Like, I couldn't even talk, like nothing. In
this period of time, yeah, when we were upstairs, we had a lot of care, and then we went downstairs, and it became very relaxed.
Yeah, like I
was sitting there next to Lil, and her contractions went from 0 to 100, where she was in so much like agony and agony and pain. Just I was like, right, these are getting bad, and there's no nurses. You okay? Yeah, just keep the monitor on, and then go back outside. And I'm like, mate, she ain't right here. She needs to. So yeah, I was just like, hold on a minute. She needs a bit more care, because the contractions were getting twice as worse, and we could see the change in it.
Yeah, like the pain wasn't just period pain, it was actually all up my bum, all in my back, all in the front, and all down my legs. And obviously I did some research. I kind of knew that that was the kind of pain you have like when you're in labour. So I then felt something when I was having a contraction, and I was like to Curtis, oh my God, did my waters just break? Like, it literally felt like I'd weed myself. So I went and put my hand down there, and I was just bleeding. Yeah,
so in that time when she said she was bleeding, in my head I was just like, whoa, how are we? So I just...
You straight away were like, you called pressed the button for the nurse to come in, and nurse come in, and I was like, we both were like, I'm bleeding, she's bleeding, like, her contractions have gotten way worse. They were about to prescribe me with, what's the medication that wipes you out? Yeah, cocodamol. And then like all these nurses come running in. There was like 5, 6, 7 of them come running in, and we're like, right, you need to go up to the labour ward straight away. Is there anything else that you've lost in this time? I'm like, no, like, it's just literally blood. Like, what the hell? I was panicking, thinking, what is going on? We're clearly having this baby soon. So then they transferred me straight upstairs back into the same room, into the delivery room, and everything was literally set up for me.
Go.
Everything was like fully set up.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
So in that time I was like to her mum, yeah, you need to get down here. You need to get down here pronto, because I think this is happening, sort of thing, innit?
Yeah. I was just in shock that for me it was all very much a blur. Like, I was just in my zone with myself, like trying to keep myself calm. I think I was quite calm throughout the whole thing. You was, yeah. But I was just like, okay, well, if this is what's happening, this is what's meant to be, it's just got to happen. He's just got to come into the world safely, and that's all that matters. But there was literally probably about 12 different nurses in that room at the time. It was
amazing
manic,
how they work.
but
They do that over there. these ones do that over there, and I was just standing there watching them. I was just like amazed, absolutely amazed.
It's crazy, and I'm just sat there on the bed like in pain while they're asking me questions like, so do you know what kind of pain relief you want? Do you know how you want your birth? And I was thinking, well, no, because I haven't thought about it, because I shouldn't be in this situation right now. So then I was offered gas and air because I didn't want anything else. So I had gas and air, had to get used to having that, which by the way, I absolutely hated. But it did help with the contractions as they were getting worse, and they were 3 minutes apart. I was then checked again inside, and I had dilated 3 centimetres. So within 1 hour, I dilated 3 centimetres, and they were like, okay, like we still need to wait a little bit, you need to get to 10 before we can start pushing. And within that time, obviously everyone is setting stuff up in the room, and I'm just dealing with these contractions and taking the gas and air. Pain is getting significantly worse, where I'm like, I'm just in my own zone at this point. And I told them I'm ready to push. I don't know how long it was from then. I think it was like 40 minutes from when they last checked me. And they were like, okay, you can't push yet, we need to just check you. So they checked me, and I was 10 centimetres dilated and ready to go, which is crazy.
Go!
So they said, yeah, we just need to wait for the doctors and the nurses, the actual doctors that will deliver the baby, to be in the room when you give birth. So I had to hold off on pushing, which was really difficult, by the way, because you know when you really need a poo, that's what it feels like. You feel like you really, really need a poo, and it's about to come out, and you've got to try and hold it in. You know that sometimes it's quite hard. So that is literally what I was feeling this whole time, is that I needed to poo, and I kept telling them, I feel like I need a poo, and I know that means he's coming, so I need to push. I'm ready to push. They kept telling me, no, don't push yet, don't, just wait a few more minutes, just wait a few more minutes. And then I can't even remember, I think they said, you can start pushing now. And I thought to myself, oh my God, yes, sense of relief, please, because I'm dying, I'm dying. I started to push, and I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and something come out, which I don't know what. I thought it was the baby. I thought the baby come flying out. But actually, it was my waters. I pushed my waters out, which I don't think I've ever heard of. Usually your waters break, or they break them for you, but
came flying out, whoosh,
yeah,
hit the wall, and I was like, what the hell was
literally,
that?
my mum was standing, vaginal view, and it literally went past her and hit the wall, and everywhere. She was like, if I was any closer, little, that would have hit me.
Headshot, right there.
We all were like, even I shot up.
I thought it was the little man just come flying out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
And then I thought to myself, oh God, I still have to give birth. That was painful, and I still have to push something out. So yeah, then I basically started pushing, and I think within 4 pushes. 4 or 5 is. Yeah, I was watching the video back, and I think it's literally 4 pushes, because his head came, had the ring of fire, and once it was at that point, I thought, you need to get this baby out, because this pain is actually disgusting. I'm not feeling this any longer. But, and I just pushed him straight out.
But fair play to you. I thought Lil would be a bit more dramatic in that sense of pushing the baby out, but I was godsmacked with how well she did. It just literally 4 or 5 pushes, and he was out. I was like, was that it? That was
because we were watching vlogs, and a lot of people would be there for like hours or ages, like trying to push this baby out. But yeah, it literally just
rapid.
Yeah.
Rapido.
And they were all like, oh my God, well done. And I literally was like, oh my God, did I just do that? The feeling is amazing. You feel euphoric. Like, you're like, oh my God, but at the same time, you're not with it, because you're just like, I can't believe this has happened. You're in shock. And obviously, it's a little bit different. Normally, they hand you your baby and you get to have cuddles straight away. But because he was premature, he had to be taken straight away and to be treated and hooked up to all these cables and wires and everything. So when he actually came out in a little plastic bag, and they had to hook him up to oxygen. They basically had to find his heart rate. He had quite a low heart rate at the start, and they were trying to stimulate him. But he came out of me with his eyes open. He literally came out and was making little dinosaur noises and like looking around like, oh my God, I'm in the world now, which is crazy. But yeah, obviously you'll see all of that in the videos, because we have filmed somewhat of this a very quick, crazy journey.
Yeah. I didn't bring the camera or anything. I just literally used my phone here and there. I was too focused on the task at hand.
They even did say like you could have set it up to film, but we were like, nah, like it wasn't in the forefront of our mind. We just wanted to just get this done.
I ain't faffing about with trying to change battery now. Get that, get this.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I ain't doing all that. So
you missed the moment.
Yeah. But what we'll do now, we'll show you, and we hope you enjoy it. And yeah, go from there. Going on, so it's currently now 4:36 in the morning. I finished work about 11 at night, sped over to the hospital to go check on Lil, and then we found out about obviously her contractions, find out the little man's ready to come out. They're giving her some medication to try and stop the contractions, but unfortunately they're still not working. They've given her the steroids. And hold on, let me just window up. And this one, they're giving her the steroids, hopefully mature his lungs a bit more. So because she's 28 weeks now, so he's very premature at the moment, and the hospital can't hold. It can only hold up to 30 weeks up. So because he's 28 weeks, we've been transferred to another hospital. So I've had Lil's mother-in-law come down. And sister-in-law just give me a helping hand, because when I finished work I went straight to the hospital with the dogs. They've been in the van, good to go, gave them water and stuff like that, let them out, while at the same time trying to find out what the score is, and it's all happening at once at the moment. So yeah, so it's from 11 now to 4:30 in the morning, and we're off to St. Peter's to go see Lil. Just arrived at St. Peter's. So it's the early morning, it's 8:42. So I slept last night, nice and comfy.
Mate, you got...
I got my head down tonight. Yeah,
bed.
Good sleep, good sleep.
This is my humble abode.
And then this is the breakfast. Breakfast.
cute little one.
Yeah, I wish I had some more.
Before I just fix everything.
Like a good